Okay, now what we have is a situation with the Cleveland Browns. We're heading into unknown territory. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, and the unknown territory is, and we're talking about a team that didn't even break 500 last year, going 7-8-1. John Dorsey has become one of the most dominant characters in Cleveland sports history in the face of a year.
Yes, he has. It's amazing. I look at the situation with the Browns right now, and I keep going like this. I'm like, is this real? What's going on? How has this happened that within a year, Jimmy Haslam actually made the right hire?
Right. Well, you talk about within a year, and we'll post up what some of the differences is. You take a look at it right now, and it's hard to believe it was just one full year of John Dorsey. He was here for the last 4 years of 4 games of the year before. But look at the difference. You take a look at the transformation of this team. Quarterback Deshaun Kaiser, then on to Baker Mayfield, Isaiah Crowell, Kareem Hunt, along with Nick Chubb, Duke Johnson with both teams. Corey Coleman and Ricardo Lewis were the wide receivers. And now after heading into 2019, it's Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. David Njoku has lasted so far, but who knows? Who knows how long that'll last?
It's interesting to hear all the national guys talk about Njoku. They all throw him in. Everyone, and he's still really young. And I say that to anybody that criticizes him for what you saw last season. He's still, when he came in the league, he was like barely 19 years old.
Right.
And just very, very young. This is where I think you should be concerned, Les.
All right, what, the offensive line?
Yes.
Yeah, getting back to the other one, you got Harris from who's at Kansas City, and one would think that Dorsey might want to see him get some action. Left tackle, of course, Joe Thomas in 17 as we head in. Greg Robinson is there, Joe Bitonio there for both, along with J.C. Tretter. But Kevin Zeitler is shipped on to New York, and Austin Corbett will get a chance. Sean Coleman, I would have never come up with that name, Sean Coleman, if you asked me. And Chris Hubbard is that for 2019. So
I really thought that Deshaun Kaiser and Sean Coleman were going to take us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, who didn't?
Everyone thought that.
All right, the transformation continues. Here's the defensive line. Myles Garrett, of course, still here. Emmanuel Agba and Olivier Vernon here with the trade coming over. Trevon Coley and Sheldon Richardson. How about that difference? Danny Shelton was here in 2017, and Ogunjobi will be here for the 2019 season. Pretty quick how this thing turned around. That's why you sign guys to long-term contracts. They're not going to be here when it's all said and done. Joe Schobert has lasted, so has Christian Kirksey. James Burgess was here, but Jannard Avery, Jason McCourty versus Denzel Ward. We think they're all upgrades, don't we? Or do we just assume they are because they're now members of the Cleveland Browns?
I still think Schobert and Kirksey could be on the hot seat. Like
Both of them?
If they find a linebacker they could bring in, those guys could find themselves back on the depth chart, which is fine. I mean, you think about what they've been able to do for the franchise and organization, that if they could be lowered into the depth chart or don't see as much time as we've seen before, that means that offensive or the defensive line is better. The linebackers are better. And so, you know, those two guys, the defense wasn't that good last year. And that's why you have a new head coach this year. Let's be completely honest.
Do we get fooled a little bit thinking it was better because the interim head coach was the defensive coordinator before he became the interim head coach?
I think we thought that the pressure of being both we worried about it more as the head coach than we did as the defensive coordinator.